Customer Commerce Podcast, where technology's fast and biz is a blast.
In life and in business, time is precious. It's why customers stay or leave and why businesses succeed or fail. We're here to give a voice to everything that makes business, whether as a customer or as a CEO, easier and more rewarding. Welcome to the Customer Commerce Podcast. Let's dive in. Hello and welcome to our very first episode of the Customer Commerce Podcast. I'm Jess, your host for this podcast series. I'm going to keep it real with you. We have quite literally jumped into the deep end with this project. And before we get into the first episode, I just wanted to give you some context of why we're doing this and how Store Connect fits into the picture of the customer commerce. Just a few weeks ago, our CEO and founder, Mikel and David Breyer, our branding extraordinaire, who you will both meet, they had a brainstorming session to figure out the best way to deliver real, valuable conversations and solutions to small business owners all over the world in regards to e-commerce, frequently and for free. Long story short, a podcast was decided, and here we are. So the first recording dives straight into the conversation without any formal intros whatsoever. And so I just wanted to set the stage for you. I hope you enjoy, laugh, and learn. Let's jump into our trending topics. First up, a fascinating story from Brussels, where a shop named Pile ou Face, which is French for heads or tails in English, I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that right, is selling still sealed, returned and lost Amazon parcels by the kilo. So customers are getting everything from 4 pairs of headphones to a lady that got 100 toothbrushes for her dogs, for dogs, just in general.
My first question, is this legal?
That's actually a really good point. Well, I mean, it's making headlines.
That's amazing. I think this is like it's just a indication of how bad returns have gotten, right? I mean,
it's the ultimate lost and found.
Yeah.
That's kind of. I'm gonna just make sure that if I ever have luggage lost when I'm traveling, that I really retrieve it really quickly, and that it doesn't end up in some sort of like, hey, we got some great pieces of luggage on sale here. So that way that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I've heard that's actually a massive market in the US. There's a whole heap of luggage resale organizations. So you can actually Google this. There's companies that buy all of the lost luggage from all the airports around America, and it's a massive warehouse of just these bags, and you go in and you buy the bag sight unseen of what's inside. Right,
Michael, so, you're an encyclopedia of the most randomly fascinating things.
No, it's a real thing.
I understand, but I mean, it's like I'm like, how do you know such a thing? This is incredible.
This is a misspent use of reading internet all the time. But yeah, so heads and tails, hey, out of France, selling return goods. You know, it is crazy that this does happen, and yeah, this is a classic example of the seller not really knowing or having the right details of the customer. Like, how are these items getting returned, or why are they getting returned? Why is someone ordering 100 toothbrushes for dogs and then returning it? Like, was it a mistake? Like, oops, oh, sorry, I have cats. It's like, how did that even happen? That's what blows me away with these customer stories sometimes. It's like either someone's being malicious or, yeah, I don't know. That's bizarre.
My biggest question is I want to know where all of the corresponding toothpaste ended up.
True. That's true. Anyway, that poor guy, you've got people that pay I think it's by the kilo, so they're paying whatever, 20 pounds, and they're either getting 100 toothbrushes or 4 pairs of Apple headphones. So it's a bit of a gamble.
It's quite a lottery.
Yeah. I mean, there is the upside. At least someone didn't end up with 20 kilos of dental floss.
I mean, yeah, but 100 toothbrushes for dogs, that's still Anyway, wild.
They're going to have to set up an e-commerce store to sell their 100 toothbrushes of dogs. I mean, that's like the ultimate.
Yeah, it's creating more business.
It's like Returnception or something. Inception, where it's just like a return within a return within a return.
Yeah.
That's just amazing.
Okay, I have another. So Etsy have just launched their gift mode, TM. I don't know if you've heard about this already, but it's an interactive hub that combines AI and human curation to help shoppers find the perfect present. So if you go online, you literally choose, okay, who am I buying for? It has a list. My grandma, mum, whatever. Are they a cat person? Do they want peace and quiet? Like, it's got all of these type of vibes that you literally choose from. And then it gives you this platter of things to choose from.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty cool. You know, the problem, the thing with it, it's interesting that you said it's AI plus human curation. You know, because like the whole challenge that AI has right now is, you know, around hallucination, or it's funny, in AI world, hallucination is what we call it when AI does something that we don't like, and creativity is what we call it when AI does something new that we do like. It's pretty bizarre. It's actually exactly the same thing. It's just totally a viewpoint on whether or not it's hallucination or not. But you know, there's this challenge of e-commerce brands embracing AI and getting totally random results. So this human curation aspect, I think, it's going to be there for quite some time. I think there was a car company in America earlier that put an AI chatbot on its website. We'd have to find this, but they put an AI chatbot on its website, and the customers came in and said, could you give me a recommendation of a car to this AI chatbot? And the AI chatbot said, yeah, sure, tell me what you like. And the human starts listing it out. And then the chatbot starts recommending a competing company's car, saying your right car is this one over here. Like, doesn't even work for our own business, right? Because it's just collating data, you know, it doesn't know. So these are like challenges that people are having to overcome. But that human resource aspect to it, I think, is really interesting.
Well, it also corresponds with, if you look at, you know, Salesforce with last year's Dreamforce, their whole thing was they were really pounding heavily on the AI, and their thing was trusted AI. In other words, like their whole thing was, it's like, how do you get AI that you can actually trust? So we've now vetted it and those. So everyone's going to put their spin on it, and ultimately there's going to be. My curiosity is, how long is it going to be before AI becomes the gremlin that everyone's like, okay, we now have we have everything you want from AI that isn't AI, but that actually gives you really what you want. There's going to ultimately be that.
Yeah, it'll swing around and reverse on itself. You know, you've got the whole. I saw this meme yesterday. Someone said, "I don't want AI to do the creative stuff, so I have more time to do the washing and dishes. I want AI to do the washing and dishes, so I have more time to do the creative stuff." You know, it's just like so spot on.
Oh my god, I saw that too.
Priceless.
Like, yes, that. You know,
I do wonder, like, in terms of that happening for Etsy, like for me, because I literally was just looking for a gift for my cousin's newborn. I kind of had wished I'd seen that, because that would have made life much simpler. So what do you think in terms of, from a small business that doesn't really have those resources or like technology to have that type of thing available, how could they do something similar that's not necessarily like that, but still gives the customer way less time to think and choice to be like, oh my gosh, they have everything I need no matter what?
Yeah, it's a really challenging thing for small business, because a lot of the AI tooling right now is quite expensive. You know, it's not turn it on for $5. But I think one of the things that small businesses need to really get their mind around is that AI is like any computer system, in that crap in gives you crap out. So AI will amplify the garbage you have, right? Or it will focus in on the good stuff. So the first thing that a small business should be doing if they really want to embrace AI is get their house in order. It's like there's no point trying to bring AI into a disorganized mess of information that is incorrect or incomplete or whatever. You know, if I was having to do this in a small business or a boutique startup or whatever, I'm selling a product, I'd be making sure that each of those product descriptions is really good. You know, like invest some creative time from a human standpoint in making sure all those descriptions are accurate. And I mean, you can even use AI cheaply to help improve your descriptions, you know, and put some more wording around it. But just beware that you can't just trust AI blindly on this. You're going to have to take that description, check it out, read it, you know, as a human. You got to read it and make sure it makes sense, because you can't blindly trust AI at this time.
No.
So creating that story or that information around what's in your product catalog then makes it indexable by the search engines. And then when the AI solution comes along and goes, hey, we can just index your site, and go, great, and you know, it's $20 a month and now it's fully indexed, but it's got data to read. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people are missing on this. You know, AI is not going to, I mean, maybe at some point in the distant future, but if you don't have any information for AI, it can't learn. So, you know, that's a really important aspect that I think that small businesses should be focusing on right now.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, I compare AI. AI is kind of like an intern. Hey, can you get me this? It helps to shorten the roadway to the stuff that we could consider, but we still have to do the vetting, the curating, the sifting, and the eliminating. And AI is not going to eliminate for us. It's not going to come up and just cherry pick. Perfect. Oh, great. Now all of a sudden we're not dispensable, and that's probably, I think, the biggest myth is that somehow we as individuals and people are going to become dispensable. That's not the case.
Yeah, totally. And you know, the AI at the end of the day is a computer program, a very black box program that no one actually on Earth really understands how it works, to be honest. And I know I'm saying this, and I'm not an AI researcher, and there are AI researchers out there that have a very good understanding of the fundamentals of how AI works, and I also understand that. You know, it's the decision trees and the way that it has weights and all this sort of stuff that you hear about when you talk about AI. But there is not a single person on Earth that goes, given this input, this is the output, and I understand every step in between. Like, that's impossible. We're talking about a system that's doing billions and billions of calculations simultaneously to get to whatever outcome it is. So because there isn't that, you know, clean path forward and real good understanding of all the way through, what appears to be creativity from AI right now is really predictive intelligence. Like it's just coming up with the most likely correct outcome based on your inputs. You know, if you say to an AI, or if I say to you, I sat on the most obvious word for you to put after that might be chair, right? And if I said I sat on the, and you come back with tree, you're going, well, this AI is stupid, right? So it's just predicting the next word or the next pixel or whatever. So that creativity that we're attributing to AI is really just prediction based on knowledge. So this is why it's really important to get your data correct, because if you've got the wrong data and you're inputting that wrong data, the AI is going to take that and it's going to give a correct output for that incorrect data, which will be incorrect, if that makes sense. So, you know, when I have small businesses talk to me about AI, I'm going, look, it's coming. It'll be ubiquitous very soon. It'll be everywhere. But the number one most effective thing you could do right now, not just for AI, but just like search results in Google, is just get your data up to date. And unfortunately, that's just hard work. What you don't want to be doing is having to do it 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 times. And, you know, if you've got multiple storefronts and you're having to do it 7 or 8 times, go look for a solution where you can just do one time, shameless plug, Store Connect. But, you know, the whole that's where you don't want to be wasting your time. You want to be running it as efficiently as possible.
Yeah. So then that leads us to, I think, I guess I want to have something where people know what the purpose of this, like, why are we doing this?
This podcast.
We're good friends, but there's more to it. You know what I mean? Why are we doing
this podcast? Well, most honest answer in the history of the universe: for marketing. No, but aside from that, the reason we're doing this podcast, I mean, look, I guess, like, from my point of view, I've been doing Store Connect, the company, now for 7 years, and I've heard so many stories about different situations and challenges and how do I run this business, and the market's changing so fast, and there's so many things that are happening where the technology is sort of getting in between the merchant and the customer. And I think over the last 10 years there's been a bit of a shift. It went one way and now it's sort of coming another, and when you first look at what customer experience was all about, was an individual merchant really knowing someone and selling them the right thing, right? And you go back in time and we can all sort of fantasize about walking into that tailor or clothing store and they say, "Oh, hello, Miss Fairley, how may I help you today? Do you need another hat? The other one was blah, blah." And they know your head size. They know what type of hats you like and that you really don't like feathers in your hats. And so they're not going to show you the feather hat, right? And then what happened was the whole business and industry tried to go, well, we don't really need that personalized service because, well, Jess, not Miss Fairley, can just log on to the website and go find the hat herself. She doesn't need a person to help her. And then what we found was that now that's wasting Jess's time, right? Because now she's not being treated like a customer. And then it became, well, why don't we just put all this up into Amazon and then Amazon can know what Jess wants. But now the hat shop has no relationship with Jess. So how do you do that? And now we're sort of having this swing back into maybe the hat shop should actually have their own relationship with that customer. And how do we do that? How do we create this direct to customer revolution where businesses are engaging and having that loyal customer relationship? And I think, I wanted to create the Customer Commerce podcast because aside from the technology, like, get the technology out of the way, there has to be a human relationship here, right? And that customer relationship has to exist. And I think there's a lot of fear-mongering around the place of, if you're not fully embracing AI, or if you're not doing this, or if you're not doing that, you're going to go out of business. It's not necessarily true, The thing that's going to keep you in business is having a relationship with your customer. And that's why I wanted to create this podcast. It's like, if we can have and help small to medium businesses, large businesses, enterprise companies, I don't really care how big you are, not-for-profits, education, religions, like whomever. Let's get that real customer relationship back where the people are actually feeling like they've got a relationship with you. They're not just a number that's rocked up. And yeah, that's why, aside from the marketing and PR benefits, that's why I'm starting this podcast, and I want to be real with the audience. I'm obviously not doing and sitting here in London after a 50-hour flight from Sydney and not sure what time zone I'm in. I'm not just doing the podcast because it's completely altruistic. But hey, if we can be altruistic and also profitable, awesome. Let's create a relationship and with our customers, our clients that are looking to buy our products, and treat them as real people. And that's why we launched Real CUSStomers. I mean, David, Real CUSStomers, I think, was it you and Jess that came up with that? Now, I can't remember how the origin story there was all David, Jess?
I'm guilty.
Yeah. So, I mean, tell us, how did Real CUSStomers come into, like, what was the brainwave there? Like, how did that happen?
Well, I mean, basically, there's a lot that we talk about. We talk about the relationship with customers. We talk about getting the technology out of the way. We talk about empowering the entrepreneur, the business owner. These are the conversations that you and I talk about a lot. And as we've been developing this and customer commerce just that sort of being such a sort of like the North Star. As we talked about it, I was like, there are frustrating experiences. I can start it, and we could be here for an hour. Everyone has had a crappy customer experience, whether it's a lousy menu tree that by the time an actual human comes on, we want to kill them, or something very much less burdensome. And so I was like, is anyone actually is there a platform for customers where we can sort of go, wow, we've run into that? Because I know the thing that I love about where you reside and really the center of your world, Michael, is that you want to serve the entrepreneur and you want to serve the customer. You want to take those two innocent bystanders and actually have them have a wonderfully healthy relationship.
The innocent bystanders of the Amazon drive-by shooting. You know?
And so I was like, okay. So that's a wonderful thing. Well, so let's have this thing, and then with Real Customer, and I was looking at it, and we were talking about when people are pissed, they start cursing. So I was, of course, being with words and stuff, I'm like, Real Customers. I was like, oh, bang! There's a platform that gives a voice to the frustrated and also puts it in. We might as well be the ones to bring it forth because we give a damn about bringing some sanity to this highly dysfunctional or questionable, or we hope we won the lottery today and that the shopping experience is actually not going to be just hell on wheels.
Yeah, and it's all out there. And for anyone listening, it's realcustomers.com, and customer is spelled C-U-S-S, as in cussing and swearing, right? So RealCusstomers.com. But yeah, you can go there as a customer and swear your ass off. We don't care. We'll bleep it out when we put it live. And tell us about that experience that you had that, left a really good special mark on your soul. And, it can be quite cathartic to talk about these things, It's like, my gosh.
Yeah, why do we have to suffer with those? Why do we have to silently suffer with those shopping experiences that basically make us regret having woken up that morning? It's like all I wanted to do was purchase something for my Aunt Mizzy, and who I love, and I've loved Aunt Mizzy, and she's turning 70, and I just want to get her something nice, and why did it turn to hell?
Yeah, right. No, it's absolutely crazy, and I'm really looking forward to hearing some of the experiences and just face palming. For those listening, I just did the whole Picard face palm thing, but the experiences of those online and understanding what's going on, and I guess another aspect of this is like what you alluded to, David. I really care about our clients and our clients' customers. And in my business, actually, because it's quite confusing, Store Connect, we provide an e-commerce platform for those that don't know. And so we have two types of customer, really. We've got our customer, so the person that pays us, and then we have their customer, the person that pays them. So actually, we had to create policy in my company which explains the difference. So we call our customers clients and their customers customers. But it's a really interesting thing that a lot of clients, you often don't get a chance to hear from your upset customers, because it only takes one bad experience for a client to leave a brand they love. And I think there was a Salesforce marketing term on this or research, not marketing. Salesforce research came out with something that said 33% of customers will leave a brand they love after one bad experience, right? Which is just mind-blowing. And you as one of our clients, or even if you're not a client of ours, you don't get that feedback from those 33% of customers, because they're like, screw this, I'm out of here. And all you see is a declining statistic, right? Based on number of sales. So part of Real Customers is let's bring those stories which would have otherwise gone completely unheard. Let's bring them to the fore, give them a platform, and then maybe one of our clients, or not a client, one of a Shopify client or whatever, I don't care what e-commerce platform you're using, but maybe you hear something in a complaint that you know is happening on your website, and you go, oh, hang on a minute, maybe I should check that. Maybe let's find out. I remember hearing someone mention that the shipping notification emails weren't quite correct, and this person on Real Customers just told a story about how bad it was, that thing that I thought wasn't actually that serious was actually causing this much annoyance and anxiety and sorrow and pain and misery and suffering. Maybe we can fix that, and have this as a way to communicate out there that, hey everyone, it's not rocket science. The things that are killing your business from an e-commerce and sales and retail point of view are not the fact that you haven't implemented the latest and greatest AI platform, right? The things killing your business are the fact that you sent it to the wrong address, or customer service never answered the call, or the email went to spam, or, these really basic own goals. You as a company might have someone sitting there, your goal is getting the soccer ball and kicking it directly into your own goal. Like, fix that. Don't worry about this AI stuff. Let's get the fundamentals in place and then go from there. And I think I spent 15 minutes answering your question, Jess, but that's why I wanted to start this podcast, right? Let's really communicate that stuff out into the wider world and see if we can't make someone's life a little bit better from fixing this,
But there's one side point I want to punch up, because I think it's very important.
No, I said everything. I don't think you need to add anything else. Go ahead, David, please. Yeah, bye. End of podcast. Yeah, right. David, please go ahead.
Just in case somebody might have been distracted for half a second and missed everything that you just said. No, there's this other little insidious part, which is that there are businesses that are like, oh, we can't compete against Amazon because they built this perfect machine. And so I think that there's this other undercurrent of how do we even compete? And yes, you have little turnkey solutions, quote unquote, for those that don't see my air quotes, of Shopify, etc. But the bottom line is those haven't looked at the full spectrum of everything that's needed without a whole gazillion bunch of plugins and other things to make it all work the way they need and want. So it's like there's a simplicity. This is a return to empowerment on the part of businesses being able to call their own shots, and it's not the big bad Amazon beast or anything else that's undermining you. There are tools, particularly Store Connect, that because Michael comes from, and Michael doesn't talk about this too much. So occasionally I'm going to just chime in on this. Michael has such an entrepreneurial, it's so in his DNA, and it really, and I really discovered this over the course of the last year. There's such a purpose to return power back to the entrepreneur, return power back to them so that they can operate independently, they can operate as seamlessly as possible, so that they benefit and their customers benefit. And so there's that other element. It's like, it's not the big bad Amazon beast or any other thing out there. It's like, no, there are tools that can restore independence and power back to you.
Thanks for joining us today. We hope you had an awesome time, leaving you with ideas on how to improve your business and wow customers. If you'd like to leave a Real CUSStomers story, head to the link in our show notes and cuss away. Love the show? Please subscribe and leave a review, because that enables us to help more businesses in building real relationships with customers and grow more rapidly. See you next time.